The unexpected landing ends on? Reed wiped grease from his calloused hands as the twin suns set behind the dusty hills of Helios 9. The repair shop he'd built from salvaged parts stood as a testament to his determination after being stranded here 5 years ago. Now, it was home for him and 8-year-old Penny. His laughter echoed from inside as she played with her collection of mechanical toys he'd crafted. "Dad, something's falling from the sky." Penny's excited voice broke through his exhaustion as she burst through the door, copper curls bouncing wildly. Jensen looked up to see a streak of light cutting across the darkening sky, not a meteor but a controlled descent gone wrong. The craft was leaving a trail of plasma discharge as it struggled to maintain its trajectory.
"I'll be inside."
Penny now. His voice was firm but gentle as he grabbed his emergency kit. The ship's sleek and iridescent, like nothing he'd seen in this sector, crashed a mile from the shop, sliding across the red dirt before coming to rest against a rock formation. Jensen approached cautiously, scanner detecting an atmosphere leak and unusual energy signatures. When the hatch opened with a hiss of escaping pressure, Jensen stepped back, hand hovering near his tool belt that doubled as a weapon holster. First emerged a figure with midnight blue skin and luminescent markings that pulsed with anxiety. Humanoid, but clearly not human, one of the Aethery, a species known for their advanced biotechnology and reclusive nature. "Please," she said in accented standard, "my child is injured." Jensen hesitated only briefly before nodding. "I'm Jensen. I can help." "Keela," she replied, relief visible in her opalescent eyes. "The crash damaged our life support." Inside the ship, a young Aethery boy lay conscious, but clearly in pain, his luminescent markings flickering weakly. Jensen assessed quickly, not life-threatening, but the boy needed proper care. "My shop has medical supplies. Can he be moved?" Keela nodded, gathering her son, who whispered, "Mother, the trackers, ... "Hush, Finn," she soothed, exchanging a worried glance with Jensen back at the shop. Penny's eyes widened at their visitors but showed no fear. "They're blue," she observed simply before helping Jensen prepare the spare room as Jensen treated Vin's injuries. Keela inspected the damaged component she'd salvaged from her ship. "Without a quantum stabilizer, we're stranded." "Fortunately," Jensen said with a half-smile, "fixing impossible things is my specialty." That night after the children slept, Keela explained in hushed tones. She was a scientist who had discovered corruption in her world's governing council. Now she and Vin were fugitives, pursued across the stars. Jensen should have felt alarm, even anger at the danger brought to his doorstep. Instead, watching moonlight dance across her luminescent skin, he felt something dormant awakening inside him. Connection he hadn't experienced since losing Penny's mother. "We'll repair your ship," he promised, "but you're safe here until then." Keela's markings pulsed with a pattern Jensen couldn't interpret. "Why would you help strangers who bring danger?" Jensen looked toward the room where their children slept. "Because nobody survives the universe alone." Trust among stars morning came with Penny and Vin already forming a tentative friendship, the universal language of childhood transcending their differences. Vin's markings glowed brighter today. A good sign, according to Keela. Jensen inspected the quantum stabilizer from Keela's ship, a marvel of engineering he'd only read about in technical journals. "This is beyond my equipment," he admitted, "but not beyond my skills. We'll need parts from the old mining facility in the western canyons." "I'll accompany you," Keela said, her tone making it clear this wasn't a request. They left the children under the watchful eye of Jensen's security system, a cobbled-together but effective grid of sensors and automated defenses. The journey across the rust-colored landscape gave them time to talk. "Your daughter bears no physical resemblance to you," Keela observed as they navigated the terrain in Jensen's rover. "Penny's adopted. Her parents were friends who died in the same crash that stranded me here." Jensen's voice grew softer. "She was just 3 then." Keela's markings shifted to a gentle rhythm. "Among my people, caring for another's offspring is considered the highest honor. You have an Aethery heart," Jensen read. At the abandoned facility, they searched through forgotten technology. Jensen worked methodically while Keela demonstrated surprising knowledge of human engineering principles. For a reclusive species, you know a lot about human tech, Jensen remarked. Handing her a plasma cutter, I specialized in comparative technological development, she explained, her markings pulsing faster as their hands touched. Though I find theory often differs from practical application. Jensen smiled. That's where imagination comes in. Theoretical limits are just suggestions. We worked side by side, converting obsolete human technology to interface with ethery systems. When their fingers brushed accidentally, an unmistakable current passed between them. Keela's markings illuminated in complex patterns that spread across her face and neck. What does that mean? Jensen asked, nodding toward the glowing design. Personal, she replied, the markings intensifying. Our bioluminescence reflects emotional states we cannot hide. Convenient, Jensen chuckled. Humans have to guess what others are feeling. Is that why you've been alone so long? Keela asked with unexpected directness. Jensen paused, surprised by her perception. Raising Penny, building a life here. It's been enough. Has it? Her opalescent eyes held his gaze. Before he could answer, his communicator beeped with an automated alert from the shop. Unknown craft entering the atmosphere. We need to go, he said, gathering their salvaged parts. Now, the ride back was tense, Keela's markings pulsing with worry. They found us sooner than I expected. Who exactly are they? Jensen pushed.
Ow.
The Sentinels. The Council's enforcers. They don't just want the research I stole. They want no witnesses to their corruption. As they approached the shop, Jensen spotted the sleek black ship hovering nearby. His heart raced. Penny, VINN. Keela whispered simultaneously. Their eyes met in shared understanding that transcended their different worlds. In that moment, they were simply parents facing the same fear. I know another way in, Jensen said, determination hardening his voice. And I'm not letting anyone take our children. Hunters in the dark, the hidden entrance. Maintenance shaft from the early settlement days allowed them to slip into the shop undetected. Through the security feeds, they saw 3 sentinels in sleek armor searching the premises while a 4th guarded their ship. The children activated the panic room, Jensen whispered with relief. Pointing to a sealed section on the monitor, it shielded from scans. Keela's markings dimmed with controlled emotion. The sentinels won't leave without us, and we make sure they do. Jensen moved to a cluttered workbench and began assembling components with practiced hands. What are you building? Keela asked, keeping watch on the monitors. A persuasion device. His lips curved in a grim smile as he connected the final wire to a power cell. It'll overload their ship's navigation system with a localized EMP. Non-lethal, but effective. Keela touched his arm, her cool fingers sending warmth through him despite their temperature. You continue to surprise me, Jensen read. They moved silently through the maintenance tunnels, Jensen leading them to an access point near the Sentinel ship. The plan was simple. Plant the device, retrieve the children, and escape to the canyons until they could repair Keela's ship. As Jensen prepared to emerge, Keela caught his wrist. Wait. Her markings pulsed in a pattern he hadn't seen before. If this fails... Without warning, she pulled him close and pressed her lips to his. The kiss was cool, yet burned with intensity. Her luminescence cascading in waves across her skin, illuminating the dark tunnel. That was... Jensen began when they parted. Nethery promise, she finished. To protect what's precious to you, as if it were my own? Heart racing for reasons beyond danger? Jensen nodded and moved toward the ship. He had almost reached it when a sentinel emerged unexpectedly. The armored figure spotted him immediately. Human, the mechanical voice announced. You harbor fugitives. Interference is punishable by death. Jensen raised his hands slowly. I'm just a mechanic. I don't want trouble. The distraction worked from behind. Keela struck with surprising speed, her ethery reflexes allowing her to disable the sentinel before the alarm could be raised. Together, they attached the device to the ship's external port. We have 2 minutes, Jensen warned, as they raced back inside. They reached the panic room just as the EMP triggered, plunging the entire compound into darkness. Emergency lights bathed everything in dim red as Jensen opened the hidden room to find Penny and Vin huddled together. "Dad!" Penny launched herself into his arms. "You need to move," Keela urged, gathering Vin. "Backup systems on their ship will recover quickly." They fled into the night, taking only essential supplies and the parts needed for repairs. Jensen led them deep into the maze-like canyons where he'd once sheltered during dust storms. Under the 3 moons of Helios 9, they made camp in a hidden cave. As the children finally slept, exhausted from their ordeal, Jensen and Keela sat at the cave entrance, vigilant. "Your world is harsh," Keela observed, looking at the barren landscape, "yet beautiful in its rawness." Jensen studied her profile, luminescent patterns now glowing softly. Sometimes the most beautiful things come from the harshest environments. Her markings pulsed in response to his words, and this time, Jensen was beginning to understand their meaning. Sanctuary in Stardust 3. Days in the abandoned mining facility had transformed it into a defensible haven. Jensen's technical ingenuity, combined with Keela's scientific knowledge, created a sanctuary hidden from scanning technology. The facility's old refining chamber now housed Keela's partially disassembled ship, the quantum stabilizer slowly taking form from their salvaged parts. Vin and Penny had become inseparable, the E3 boy teaching her about stellar cartography while she showed him how to identify edible desert plants. Their resilience amazed the adults, who worked tirelessly on the repairs. "The calibration is finally stabilizing," Keela announced late one evening, her markings glowing with satisfaction as they tested the modified component. Jensen looked up from his welding, pushing his protective goggles onto his forehead. "2 more days, and you'll be space-worthy again." An unspoken weight hung between them, the inevitability of departure. Jensen returned to his work, trying to ignore the hollow feeling expanding in his chest. Later, as the facility's systems cycled into night mode and the children slept soundly, Jensen found Keela on the observation deck, staring at the stars visible through the cracked dome. "Penny asked if Vin and I would stay," she said without turning, her voice soft. Jensen leaned against the railing beside her. "What did you tell her?" "The truth. That we're being hunted, that staying endangers everyone." Her markings dimmed. "That some wishes cannot be granted simply because we desire them." The facility's ambient lighting caught the subtle iridescence of her skin, reminding Jensen of the pearls he'd once seen in Earth's oceans, another home, long lost to him. "What if you weren't being hunted?" he asked. "What if there was a choice?" Keela turned to him then, her opalescent eyes searching his. "Is there ever truly a choice when worlds separate us? Your physiology, your social structures, your very existence is adapted to this environment. Mine requires specific conditions found only on E3 worlds. And yet here we are," Jensen said, closing the distance between them. "Adapting." This time, it was Jensen who initiated the kiss, hesitant at first, then deepening as Keela responded, her cool touch igniting something within him that transcended physical sensation. Her markings illuminated brilliantly, casting patterns across both their skin. When they parted, breathless, her luminescence had spread to patterns he hadn't seen before, intricate designs that spoke of emotions beyond translation. "I haven't felt this way since ... double quotes Jensen began. "Before you were stranded," Keela finished. "Nor have I since before Vin's father died defending our research." Understanding passed between them, 2 souls who had known loss, who had prioritized their children's safety above personal happiness. Now confronting unexpected feelings, the moment shattered as proximity alarms blared. Security monitors revealed a Sentinel scout ship passing overhead, conducting systematic grid searches. "They're persistent," Jensen muttered, checking the facility's shielding status. "The Council fears my research could expose corruption reaching to the highest levels," Keela explained. "They won't stop." As they watched the ship continuing its search pattern, Jensen made a decision. "Then, we need to give them something else to chase." New constellations' dawn broke over the canyons as Jensen made final adjustments to the decoy beacon, designed to emit a signature identical to Keela's ship. This plan is either brilliance or madness, Keela observed, her markings pulsing with admiration despite her concern. The line between those is pretty thin in my experience. Jensen replied with a wink that made her luminescence ripple. The children helped load the repaired quantum stabilizer onto Keela's ship, their efficiency speaking to bonds formed through shared danger. When the moment came to launch the decoy, they gathered at the facility's control center. Remember, Jensen instructed, once I trigger this, we have 20 minutes to get your ship airborne before they realize it's a fake. The plan worked perfectly. As Keela's ship hummed with restored power, sensors detected multiple Sentinel vessels converging not on the decoy, but on their actual location. They've triangulated our position from the launch signature, Keela realized. Her markings flashing with alarm, Jensen made an instant calculation. You and the kids need to go now. The ship's ready, and you, Keela challenged, already knowing his answer. Someone needs to ensure the facility's reactor goes critical after you launch. It'll mask your signature and eliminate any evidence. His eyes held hers. I'll use the emergency pod to escape before detonation. It was a necessary lie. The pod's systems had been cannibalized for Keela's repairs. They both knew it. No, Keela stated firmly, her markings pulsing with determination. There is another way, she explained. Rapidly, the quantum stabilizer could be modified to create a dimensional shift, briefly phasing the facility out of normal spacetime. It would appear destroyed to sensors while remaining intact. The physics are sound, she insisted, but it requires precise timing and ... and what? Jensen pressed as she hesitated. And a theory bioluminescent energy to catalyze the reaction. A significant amount. Understanding dawned. It would drain you. Not permanently, she assured him, though her markings betrayed uncertainty, but I would need time to recover. Time they didn't have. Sentinel ships were minutes away, as Keela worked feverishly to modify the quantum field. Jensen prepared the children, explaining only that they would be hiding in a special way. Penny, perceptive beyond her years, hugged him fiercely. You love her, don't you, Dad? She whispered. Jensen looked at Keela, her midnight blue skin aglow with concentration as she reconfigured delicate circuitry. I think I do, Penny girl. When the moment came, they gathered in the central chamber, the modified stabilizer humming with potential energy. The facility trembled as Sentinel ships began atmospheric entry. Now, Jensen said softly, taking Keela's hand. Her free hand pressed against the stabilizer's core. Her markings brightened to blinding intensity, pulsing outward in waves as she channeled her bioluminescent energy into the device. The air around them shimmered, reality itself seeming to ripple. A flash of indescribable light, then silence. The facility appeared undisturbed. But through the observation dome, they watched Sentinel ships scanning the massive energy signature of what their instruments registered as a reactor explosion. Keela collapsed into Jensen's arms. Her luminescence dimmed to almost nothing. For agonizing moments, she lay still, until finally, a faint pulse of light traveled across her skin. You did it, Jensen whispered, cradling her gently days later as Keela recovered her strength and the Sentinels abandoned their search. They stood together on the repaired observation deck. The children played nearby, inventing games that blended both their cultures. The Council believes we perished, Keela said. We are officially non-existent. Jensen took her hand, watching as responsive patterns of light danced where their skin touched. So what exists for non-existent people? Where do we go from here? Keela's markings formed the pattern he now recognized as joy. Perhaps the question isn't where, but how. Together or apart? Jensen looked at their children, at the stars above, at the woman whose differences had opened his heart to new possibilities. I think you already know my answer. Show me, she challenged, her opalescent eyes reflecting starlight, as Jensen drew her into his arms. The first luminescent marking appeared on his own skin, a small point of light where their hearts pressed together, the beginning of a new constellation.